The Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I am Jeff Doss. Welcome, everyone. It's another big episode, and I tell you, man, I'm excited. I'm sure you're excited right now. You're antsy. Say what?
So that's what we do. We do big things around here.
That's right. So I'm sure you are a little antsy for this game coming up. So,
oh yeah, dude, I gotta tell you though, we were a little late getting started because like I had to switch spots down here, so I'm back to my old spot. Oh man, I'm gonna tell you, relaxing. It's on the couch is so much better. This is so nice, just to be able to sit back. This is cool.
oh, that is cool. I was trying to mute so that way y'all didn't hear the police and ambulance so loud. But yeah, as you guys know, all right, my karate school is right next to the courthouse, the ambulance, the fire department, everything. So you guys for years have probably heard, sirens always, but sometimes I try to mute it when it's pretty loud and crazy. But yeah, so it's always busy around here where I live, even though I live in a small town. It's always busy.
I think I've only heard them like once. I think it was actually, and I think it was when you used to do it from home. That was a long time ago.
Like when I was in the apartment downtown.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't remember that, but you know what you probably heard? No, you know what it was? There was a train. I used to live right next to the train, and the train would come. That's what you heard that one a couple of times. That was always
the train a lot where you're at. Do people take the train?
I don't know if they take a lot, but I mean, I don't know that many people. I only know a few people, and I've done it 2 or 3 times now recently, and it's pretty cool.
The Amtrak?
I enjoy it. Yeah, I've done the Amtrak, and then I did what was it called? The Bright Line, which is from Fort Lauderdale or Miami to Orlando. It's this new like super fast train. It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Oh, just from between those two spots. So it's like a bullet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Yeah, Sam. We're going to talk a lot about it today. So first off, we had a amazing Grand Slam Open. It was an awesome return, and we'll talk a lot about that today. Some highlights from that, some things I learned, some things that I hope just bringing something new to our area. And really, it was pretty cool because it'd been 8 years since I had the Grand Slam Open, and which is kind of wild, right? And we started the event at this same venue back in 2010 at Rustburg High School in Rustburg. So in my hometown, I tell you, like, there are things where I want to move to a bigger area and do all that to attract more people. But at the same time, man, it is nothing better than be able to have a tournament 2 miles from where you live. Okay. Like literally I am right there. All right. That makes it a lot easier to be at the school in the morning at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. You know what I mean? to run a tournament. So that was pretty nice.
Yeah. So was this something where you guys had to set up day of, or did you guys set up like the day before?
We set up Friday night. Yeah, we did get to set up Friday night. We got the full setup of really 10 rings of mats, all the TVs, all of the pipe and drape, all the registration stuff set up in 2 hours. So we did a pretty good job of that. Yeah, it was probably a little bit more than that, maybe 2.5 hours. But yeah, so we had a lot of help, man. And I tell you, my school, my students, my family, Shelly, Wesley, everybody just did an amazing job helping that setup on Friday night. And just so many, and also I had a lot of help from other people that came, judges. We had at least 10 judges that came up Friday night to go over the rules with Holly Perry. As again, ProMac and even some NASCAR rules are different to people in this area, and I tell you what, I want to give a shout out to a lot of the TCT promoters that came up to help me out, and most of them came up Friday night to learn the rules. They are another local league that, were a lot of these tournaments were ones that I sanctioned years ago as part of the NBL and the SKIL. And, so it was really cool. As some of their rules are still like the old NBL rules. So learning that everybody just really adapted really great to everything. That was really cool. And
what was the biggest learning curve for some people to kind of get around?
Let's see. I think some were the differences in not having a coach's timeout, right? Like a real coach's timeout. In sparring, like in NBL or even the others, there would be like the coach is the one that calls the timeout. In NASCAR, it's completely different, right? If you need to call a timeout because of the competitor has to do that. But there's not really like a coach's timeout where you have 10 seconds to talk to your coach, like the old NBL rule, right?
Yeah.
And even and truth is, like, I think even USA Sport Karate has that. Other WKC has that, or I believe. So, so it is a rule that is kind of common in other leagues as well. Here we go. Trying to show this. Yes, a great weekend. Awesome team of people who wanted to give all the competitors the best experience possible. Congrats, Chef. You and your family were amazing hosts. Thank you, Holly, for all you did. She came and worked her butt off. And, we have a lot of great feedback about the ProMac, about the way that it was set up, the way our schedule, and everything. So it was really cool. The other thing I think, we talked about the timeouts. We talked about, like you get used to it, but at first it's always like, like 1 point to the body or 2 points. I think at first you're doing this, but you can change that pretty easily, right? And pretty fast.
People figure it out.
That's not too bad. Creative and extreme is not something that's done around here. Okay. So, it's creative forms. There's musical forms. There's creative forms in the South. Creative forms means like everything. It just means like extreme, open. Yeah. Open forms. Yeah. Yeah. So that is a different thing of looking at the 360s and things like that. So that was a little different. I did have one judge that just said, all right, I can't do this because they're just changing. They're doing the same form. They're just doing, instead of an aerial, they're doing a butterfly kick. He's like, I just watched the same form 4 times, and he just said, listen, like, can you switch me out? Because I can't do it. I'll come back when they're doing traditional. At least he was honest about it.
Listen to that. I can't watch this anymore. I'll come back when they're doing traditional.
Yeah. So there was that.
I'm on that train. That's where I'm at.
But I tell you what, man, all the positive feedback we've gotten, about the way it was set up, about the rules, the flow of it, the communication with everyone. I tell you, man, there were so many great. There's so many people to shout out. It's really hard to even, but definitely want to give a shout out to the ProMac group, like Holly, Chandri's Pickett and her whole crew and family that helped out. Sean Gillum just is a rock star. Doug Little, same thing. Both those guys really did so much with helping me set up, and then so many other people, man. Like it's wild. I have my crew that was always there to support me, like my instructors, Johnny Watkins, Preston Rogers, Doug Armstrong, Chris Westbrook. Lawrence Arthur, all these guys, Magic Johnson coming in and helping. So many different people that are there. And it was really cool to see. It was kind of like a reunion, people from up north that used to come to my tournament in the NBL, like Christine and Jim Fisher. Used to have the Spooktacular in Ohio back in the day. Brian Arrington, that was always one of our arbitrators for years. He was down to judge. Brett Shumway doing all kinds of crazy stuff out there.
Whoa, look at that. Brett saying it ran fast. Says he was one of the last adult black belt divisions to run, and he was on the road by 3:30. Wow.
And that was the really the challenge divisions, you know what I mean? Because we didn't start the challenge divisions till 2, and we told everyone that. But most adult black belt, actually most black belt divisions were done by probably 12 o'clock. So yeah, so we got our maybe 12:30. We got our our underbelt 13 under started at 12:30, and we were done by 4 o'clock. I think we had one ring that had $2,000, so we were officially done by 4:30. So a great event, lots of fun. We also had kickboxing, the IKF there. Had about 20 fighters, and I tell you what, just the feedback we got from everyone really enjoying watching that was really cool.
That's dope.
So definitely want to continue growing with them, growing with ProMac, and just also doing what we say we're going to do. I think, yes, sir, Joey. Sean, thank you, man. You did a lot this weekend, man. It was awesome. We talked about our, doing the prize money for all the adult black belts, right? And I tell you what, man, that was something that some people even left without getting it because they didn't believe it. They just were like, wait, what? Wait, what? Like I had to remind them, and it was just really funny. And then I just messaged a couple people today, like, hey, I need to send you a check because you didn't come and get your money. And they're like, wait, I got prize money for that? Yeah. Like we are really going to do this. So tell everyone and bring more people next year, and we're going to stick with it. It's a rare thing, but it's like, hey, yeah, I maybe could have made $2,000 more by not doing it. But it's also like, what am I doing this for? I'm doing this for the competitors. I'm doing this for the sport. I'm doing this for, like we talk about things that I'd like to see in the sport. Well, then that's the reason why we put on tournaments. So you can actually do the things you want to do, right? If you want to make a change, and that's why we do that as promoters. So anything that we can do, so I was happy about that. Let's see.
I agree, Andrew.
And I think you can say that, but the truth is that's hard at a NASCA level when there's 100-something divisions, right?
Oh, I
for
disagree.
adult black.
No,
but
I actually think it's more doable. It just seems crazier because then you're like, well, then we're going to give away so much money. We're going to give away so much more money. Now we're going to have now look at how much money we're going to pay out. One division. If we're saying, all right, it's $100 for your division, if that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's basically what it costs to enter a division.
Well, now, yeah, you're right.
And so if there's 20, 30 people in the division, it's 1/20th of what your division grosses. So like, look, like that's so backwards thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That prize money is 1/20th of the revenue you bring in.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
To me.
Well, and here's the deal: the divisions. So, like the challenge divisions, right? What we did was I gave them a certificate that said, next year your first 2 divisions are free. They're comp. So everyone that won Korean Challenge and Japanese Challenge got those. So guess what? We want them to come back next year. We want you to defend your title. And I think we can do more than that. There was only one person that made fun of me for that because he said it in a funny way. He said, "Jeff, you gave this person an IOU."
That's
That
actually
was
pretty
Tim. That was Tim Conkle, of course.
that was funny.
But it was funny.
But
Yeah.
but if you look at that, it's great because there are some things that that we look at. It's not necessarily like a knock or a criticism. It's just like an acknowledgement of like, oh man, I wish there was a way to already know who's going to be at the tournament, who's going to be there before you get there, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the T-Wolves playing the Spurs tonight.
Right.
I know who's going to be in the starting lineup and who's not. They already tell us, right? Sometimes there's things that happen last minute, like Anthony Edwards is going to play tonight. Oh, yeah, baby. That's last minute. We get that. That's not normal. That's a surprise, right? But for the most part, we already know who's going to be there. So we know what we're tuning in for. We know who we're going to be competing against, et cetera, et cetera. But with what you're doing, saying that like, hey, it's comped, why wouldn't they want to come back now?
Right.
So now you do kind of know who is going to be there next year. So that's pretty cool. I dig that, man.
Brett won the 40 plus challenge for the Japanese, and Cindy won the 40 plus Korean. All right. So yeah, so it was a fun addition. I'm going to name some of the winners. Again, I didn't write them. I'm tell you what, man, I have not had that much time. I still have things I need to unload. Okay. But, and get back to normal, but that's just part of it. And I still hadn't
You
even
mean
been
like physically
unload
or like
no,
ready
not
to unleash on someone.
No. That's funny. But yeah, all right. Oh, the other challenge. Yeah, so Grand Slam winner. So Tim Conkle won the 18 plus weapons grand, and Amber Rutherford won the 18 plus forms grand. Congrats to both of them. The 18 plus male fighting was Justice Floyd. The 18 plus male open weight was Justice Floyd, and the 18 plus female open weight and female grand fighting was Allison Staples. So congrats to all of them for winning those adult winners. The Japanese challenge for female 18 plus was Amber Rutherford. The Korean challenge for female was Rissa Kalar. Let's see which other ones I'm thinking of. I know Noah Thomas won both the Japanese and the Korean challenges. And then let's see, Jaden. It's off the top. It's off. His last name is not on my brain right now, but Jaden won both the Korean and the Japanese challenge for 14-17. And Lexi Miller won the Korean challenge for 14-17 female. And then 13 under boys was Phineas Parker, and 13 under girls for and he also won Japanese as well. And Phineas Ariella Ratliff, she won the Korean challenge for the females. So
you're doing all this off the top of your head?
Yeah. And then let's see, we had for the 13 under black belt weapons grand, it was Maverick. All right, Maverick from Michigan. And then also help me out here, guys. The 13-17 was another girl from Michigan. I don't know why her name is slipping my head. I see the face right now, but she won the forms grand.
Listen, we're all just sitting here impressed that you could just
I'm remembering all this.
Have it all right there.
I'm going to look at my thing. Miss Thomas, can you help me out? My phone's not working now. Anyways, I will get right back to that. There we go. Willow. See, there we go. See, this is why I have hard times. I knew. I mean, yeah, Willow. I see the face. Yes, Willow won. Congratulations to her. So both from Michigan, both from the same school as Noah Thomas. And I know they all train with Cameron Woodington as well. All right, 14-17. Both of those were Benjamin Pickett. Another, he's won a lot of these Pro Mac Grand Championships lately, so congrats to him. And that was on that side. I know we had a lot of the open rank winners. Let's see, Joey Rabin from FSK, Emma Floyd from FSK, also Jake Thomas from Immortals. So lots of great winners there. If there's more guys, shout them out. If your student or your kid or your parent won one of these. So, man, I tell you, it was really cool to see just all the different people there from different areas, of course, getting to see like Joey Shiflett there, fighting and having a great time. And, he's like, wait a minute. Yeah. He was like, wait a minute. Yeah. I'm not doing the grand championship. I'm not going to do 18+ grand. I'm like, hey, but you can go get your $150. He was like, all right, I will do that. You're right. It's like, that's freaking cool.
Wow.
But I tell you what, man, it was just really cool to see to see us start all over again and just give to everyone that experience that maybe they've heard about for a long time, right? And then building on from there. So I'm excited for the future of the tournament and also this area and getting Virginia Sport Karate back on the map. Yes, you're right there, Brett. The senior divisions were some of the biggest adult divisions. There were a lot of great talent on that side, as well as the I think we had 8 in the 35+, so that was pretty awesome. And yeah, for forms. And then we also had some really talented, creative and extreme divisions for weapons and forms. The forms grand championship was very tight with 3 different people getting the 9, with Brett Shumway, with Cam Whittington, with Amber, and then also Noah in that high level competition. And man, I tell you what, 50+ we had that as well. Yes, sir.
So this kind of sounds like it was like a super regional.
Yeah, I would say so. Especially with the competition size, the competition wise, on it. So I'm just grateful for everyone that came out. And I think everyone's just going to bring more people, tell everyone, and we're just going to keep doing a better job at promoting, but also organizing it to be run even smoother and better. So again, shout out to all my family. Shout out to everyone that continues to do this with me and support me. It was a cool job, man. So I'm excited. Thanks, Joey.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, I was seriously bummed. I was really trying hard. I'm like, how can I get there? I need to get there. And you don't have like the easiest place to just fly into last night.
No, I don't. That's one of the problems, that makes that. So I got to decide that. But I feel like for me, that's one of the things is, okay, do we switch the venue next year or do we keep growing where we're at and then get to there? Don't take a big jump until we're ready to, until it's absolutely necessary, And at the same time too, I'm at this point now where I like to do, I think, we know how to do this in a healthy and a strong way, that I can do multiple tournaments at this level and do well and grow the sport in my area and grow the, with people like Chandries, who's going to have a tournament in Greensboro, with some of the other people. Does Alex ever come outside? I love that.
I just stay here in my basement all day long. That's what I do. I just do karate and mix tracks. This is what I do.
Actually, what's funny is that the guy that did sound, he's talking about doing more things like what you do. I said, all right, well, let me talk to one of my best friends who does this for a living, and I'll get you some ideas on what to do. So
oh, he's like looking for gear and stuff like that.
Yep, gear and stuff, and yep. So he's a guy that does a lot of like the foam, like the kids' foam parties and the bounce, different things like that, different parties. And now he's getting into the wedding DJ type thing. So Yeah.
I would not
Um,
do a foam party. Not at all. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, Brett, you're right. Yeah, we do have more space in that gym than we actually use. So like there's a lot to do there, you know. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about like, do you like go to a different area where you can like have lots of more access to different things and it can be big? Like the tournament that jumps out to me that's kind of like that went there before they were big enough is like Infinity National Championships, which
Yeah.
ironically is this coming weekend, right?
Yes.
So because I mean they really were just like they were really a local tournament.
Yeah.
And they had a few outside national guys and ladies that would go, but they're in a space that if they increased their competitors by 3,000, they could stay right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's I don't know the deal that Mike and Jeff have with
I know.
the Kalahari Resort, but it's got to be a great one because it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I mean, I don't want to mess with anybody's deal, but it's just I think they're in a fortunate situation because of where they are geographically. Although that's the same downside for them, they are not near any airport.
No. So
You had to deal with that.
Yeah, so I decided to head out there this weekend. I'm super excited to be back. It's been a long time since I've been there, but again, I was very it is their 10th year anniversary, and I definitely want to try to make it as I was a big part of helping them get it started, you know,
Right.
and I really am excited about how much they've grown, and those guys are amazing friends. So yeah, I'm flying into Milwaukee, and then it's like a 2-hour drive to over there. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about it. It's going to be great. Thanks, Daryl. I appreciate it, man. You guys did an amazing job, and keep up that great work with Team Immortals. So I'm excited about Infinity Nationals this weekend. It's going to be another one of those tournaments that does it for the competitor. You know what I mean? And does what they say they're going to do. So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
So Kelly and I are going to head out there Thursday and be there for Infinity. So again, guys, I'll be available for private lessons in the morning on Friday, and I'll be there judging and helping. And I don't know. I remember, didn't we talk one time? It's like tournaments that you never competed at. Never competed.
No,
there.
you have not. Have you? No, you haven't.
I have never competed
That's
at that.
right. You haven't done that.
I used to be head coordinator, so I didn't really. Yeah. So I don't know.
That's
So
one of those-
maybe I'll jump
it's
into
one
the
of
division.
those where I won that tournament. I'm looking at my award right now. I won that tournament, and I really feel like that tournament has the possibility where years later you're going to talk about the people who won that tournament, and it'll be a big deal. And so I really feel like at some point it is going to be like who won it on 2000 yada da da.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm just fortunate that I got to be one of those guys one time. So
Yeah, and that was what was cool was, you know, like Tim was all like, man, it's been 12 years since I came here and now I got, you know, another belt buckle. You know, it was a cool thing, right? Justice Floyd saying winning this tournament was like on his bucket list. You know, he it took him many years to win as a junior, then he finally did his last year as a junior. And then he's like, this is, you know, one of the ones that I always wanted to win. It was their favorite tournament growing up, you know. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool for that. And the same thing with Infinity. I think they do an amazing job at putting on, you know, just a first class event. So I do want to say a big shout out to my instructor, my Taekwondo instructor and coach, Master Preston Rogers. He surprised me big time with my 5th degree in Taekwondo under him. And this was actually the first belt. He's been my coach forever, but it's really the first black belt I have, official black belt I have under him. So it was really cool. And it's the first one I have with the and everything on it. So
all right, so hang on. Let me see that again.
it's way too big, but
All right, so the lettering, not that lettering.
yeah.
What is that? That's in Korean.
Yes. Listen, I was running a tournament, so I did not get to. I will ask him about that. You
I
know
was
me.
just curious what it
I don't read.
says. You didn't ask. You didn't ask him.
No, yeah, I'll ask him later. He was showing it to me and everything, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know that that was on there. So, but it was really really a big surprise and an emotional thing for him as well. You know, I remember I told you guys about um, going back and training with him before Diamonds this past year, and you know, he was like, you know, we trained for a long time, and he was like, this that was pretty much me testing you to see where you were at, you know, and so it was pretty cool. So it was a
That's
big moment. So yeah, so I have a lot of masters belts now.
But that's cool.
Different.
Like it was like a trigger when I saw the belt and I saw the lettering.
Yeah,
I wanted to just check, like, hey, can't read Korean, but
yeah,
that looks like it might be Korean. I don't know, but at least it's Taekwondo belt,
yeah,
Korean lettering.
right.
Checks out. This is I promise this is the truth. So stupid. Karate guys are stupid sometimes, man. And this is up there with some of the stupidest stupid things you could ever stupidly be a part of. There's a guy ran a karate school. Well, ran a taekwondo school, right?
Okay.
And then for his black belts, he decided he wanted to put Japanese lettering on the belt. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so I asked, I go, why would you put Japanese lettering on the belt? Like, these are taekwondo black belts.
Yeah.
Promise this is what he said. He goes, Japanese lettering looks cooler.
Oh man, that's
And I'm like,
hilarious.
number one, you can't read not one thing of any of this. You don't know what is what. You have no idea. You just crossing fingers and putting blind faith in someone else. I get it. I would do the same.
Yeah.
What do you mean it looks cooler? You can't even tell the difference. And if you can tell the difference, that's even worse.
Even worse.
How stupid is that, right?
Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
This same person also decided, he was like, I think the word comma is spelled wrong. I'm like, no, it's not. That's the way you spelled comma.
Yeah.
K-A-M-A. That's what it is. And he goes, that's dumb. That's confusing. Let's just spell it like the punctuation mark. What? You're going to do what? You want to spell? Like, it's not like you're making something up. It's not like it doesn't already.
I feel like this person needs to get called out.
Oh man, I would love to call this person out. There would be, this will tell you guys that I do bite my tongue. There would be a fair amount of backlash on me if I were to. Well, it's not like I care that much, but it's like, what's the point? What's the upside of calling this person out? But,
right. I get
but
you.
yeah, they decided that you should just spell it like you write the word, the punctuation, and Gay Beck is spelled wrong.
Oh, geez.
I'm
not okay.
That's not even a word. That's a person's name. As the guy's name. What do you mean? You guys gotta respell someone's name because you don't like the way it's like? What is wrong with you? You know what I mean? How crazy is that?
That's wild.
Japanese.
Oh man. All right. So one of the things that was cool, just talking to my students today, and some of them, I always ask them, like, what are you learning from the tournament? What did you learn from not just participating in your competition, but also what you saw and what you watched and what you did?
Right.
And, one of the cool things was, several of them said, I learned how to grow from a loss and from losing and from, and so that was really a cool thing. And also they said, because here's the deal. We ran, adult black belts and black belts first. A lot of times these kids do not get to see the black belts of these tournaments because it's way, way late and everyone's gone. And they watch them compete and say, you know what? They competed and didn't get super met, like showed how it should be to be a black belt, and to be, with good sportsmanship. And so that was a really cool thing to hear from, a 10-year-old and 11-year-old. So that was pretty awesome. So it gets me to my question here is, And I want to hear some of you guys in the comments. What is your most important loss?
That is I can
Yeah.
tell you right away what mine was.
Is it Diamonds with Jason or no?
No.
Okay.
It was like kind of it's not like rookie turn, but it was like my first time where I'm like, all right, I'm really going to really start doing this thing. And it was at the New England Open lightweight grand. And
Oh, okay, yeah.
I got
With
owned by Manny Reyes. I got owned
Reyes,
10-0. Right.
Yeah.
And that was an important, because before that point, I didn't know if I belonged. And in that, and when I won the division, I thought like, oh man, I got something going on. And Manny immediately humbled me.
Right.
And I was like, I still don't yet know if I belong, but I know I have a lot of work to do. All I could do before that point was score points, but I couldn't I couldn't really win, right? I couldn't win a championship, right? And Manny let me know that, like, no, you can't. Like, you want to win and be the last guy, like, you have to be that much better. And so, yeah, it really, that loss put a lot on me. So,
man, it's really hard for me to say because I had a bunch of losses, a bunch. I think, there's some that were wins within the loss. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about, the Diamonds performances that I've had with Moon Moo. We've talked about, just
I think everybody won with
some of
that loss you had.
Yeah, I think some of my performances on the U.S. Open stage, I think were those, like that 2015 ISKA.
Yeah,
I think the last 3 years were all that way to me. So I think those were ones of that. But as far as the loss that really maybe like shift and make me understand where I wanted to be at, it was there's several that, and I think we've shared some, but I will say this one at the Canadian Open in 1999 was where I should have won that grand. Okay. That grand was mine to win. And I did my form out, and I went too far back before I started my form. And so when I did my side kick, to the back, and I literally was like, my chamber was on top of the scorekeeper's table. And so when I did that kick, I had to kick over, and then I put my foot down, and I like went right to like knife hand spear, which is like the end of the form. Okay. So I just was like, yeah. And I could have adjusted and just kind of gone with the flow of that. And I didn't, and I could have, made it up on the spot or whatever. And because again, it still is open forms. It was, even though it was traditional, I could have made it up. Right. And I think, I ended the form. So I literally had like a 20-second form, and that was mine to win. And so from there, it's really funny because I was like, yeah, but I can't because of this. And that made me become the person that adjusts now when anything happens. You know what I mean? Like that moment made me the person, hey, I'll never let that happen again. Like I'm going to adjust, and I'm going to, because some of my best performances were on the fly. I mean, again, from there, I just made up all my forms after that. Like not in traditional, but I mean, like all my creative forms were all on the spot after that, right? Even if it was musical or whatnot. If I had an issue with a form, I found a way to either change the timing to get myself back to where I needed to. I had to wait to, so that's what that taught me was like, you know what, like, don't let the reasons or the excuses get in the way of what you want, So that was a very important one for me. But, shout out to Mike Gorelli for winning that one that weekend.
I like what Joey wrote in here, the 94 Bluegrass, that Carmichael Simon just basically sent everyone home, which that also checks out.
15-7. Kansas all hit 94 Bluegrass. That would have been probably 14-17.
15 is, I think it was 15-17.
No, 13-17 musical forms is what he won. But then there was 15-17 forms was the way it was back then.
Yeah.
Can't be using new school.
I think they had. Was there even open forms then? I think it was just forms.
Yeah, it was just forms and then musical forms.
Right.
94. Yeah.
So there was only 3 division options. There was weapons, forms, and musical. That's it.
Yeah.
Look how far we've come.
There was so it was 7 of that and then 4 of the other, maybe 5 at one point. And then at Bluegrass, they would split it boys and girls.
Yeah.
So like 4 of the tournaments would split boys and girls. So yeah. And it depended on the year too. But like Compete always did, and Bluegrass always did, Diamonds always did, and then Battle started doing that as well. And then actually US Open one year or maybe 2 years, they didn't just split it they didn't split it boy and girl. They split it by like age, like 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 15-year-old, 14-year-old. They did it that way one year.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2 years. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think the I guess most important loss I had in forms was similar to what Joey was talking about in terms of Carmichael, but it wasn't Carmichael for me. It was Anthony Atkins. I'd taken a runner up to him like 3 times in like 2001. And then I did not have the presence that Anthony did. And then one time, like the next year, I thought like, man, I think I can get one on him. And Anthony just came up to me and he goes, dude, what is wrong with your landing? And I got pissed off. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? Right? And he's like, why are you trying to land? Keep trying to get up. I'm like, it's easy for you to say. I mean, you got pogo sticks for feet, man. What are you talking about? But he kind of walked me through and he's like, when you're that high and you're trying to land, you can't. It actually messes up your. I'm like, oh, okay. So I took some L's to him that really helped me because I thought I was closer than I was, right?
Yeah.
And I really wasn't. And sometimes that happens. People will beat somebody and they won't really understand that you beating that person didn't really have much to do with you. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So like, all right, personally, I beat David Douglas. That did happen.
Yeah.
That didn't have much to do with me. All right. I had a great form. All right.
Yeah.
I have my best form. David didn't bobble, he didn't mess up, but he definitely didn't have his best form. So me beating David, while I had to go out there and I performed and I did great, but me beating him had more to do with David than it did me. Right. So I think sometimes we got to look at things like that. Right. And we inflate ourselves so much, or we inflate other competitors or students. Like, man, look at you beat what so-and-so, which you should do. But also it's okay to say, yo, man, you're lucky you got out of that thing. Because really, if he would have done his true second half of that form, no shot. What's wrong with saying that? You know what I mean?
Right. I got you. Yeah, Brett's saying 2008 Cooper Day Classic against Jason Borelli. Was up with 30 seconds left, laid back, and ended up losing by 2. Learn not to change what's working regardless of the score would have been my biggest win.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's huge, man. I mean, the losses are what turn you're around, or sometimes, just teach you something different, to look at it in a different way.
Oh, that's why you were talking about Jason Borelli at the Diamonds for me, my last tournament.
Yeah.
No, that is not a great loss. That is bad loss.
I know it is a bad. I didn't say
too many.
I didn't say great loss. I said most important loss. But yeah, that was one of those rough losses, right?
That was a rough loss.
We can take this and go like worst losses, or like most, because I'll say for me another important loss was the 2010 musical weapons division at Super Grands 2010 because I lost that in a tiebreaker. And it was such a weird thing because it caused a lot of controversy because the guy dropped his weapon and still won because he restarted. And back then that was a rule. And so then we tied, and then somehow, and that was when I debuted pulling the nunchuck out of my, so of course in my tiebreaker, I didn't do that because it wasn't a surprise anymore. Right. But it was just a weird thing on that. And so the whole night I'm just sitting there, like everyone telling me that I got robbed and all this and that, and I should be upset and I should just walk out. And instead I said, I still got business. I still got business to do. And I won, the creative division and the musical forms division and won the overall grand, which is my goal. So it just taught me to not let what happens in the beginning of the week or your first division, whatever, affect what you're there for, And
Well,
oh yeah.
Let's take ourselves out of this equation.
Yes.
Who are other people that you've looked at and went, oh, man, that is a heartbreaking loss that you just endured right there, right? Or forms, I think about like Matt Emig against Kalman Choka when Kalman, now the form, it's about the moment because now the form, if he did that form right now, he might place, right? But at that time, at the Diamonds, when he did that and he did his double sword extreme blindfolded, right? Yeah, that was bananas, right?
Yeah.
And Matt really had one of his best performances ever, right?
Yeah.
And I think we all credit him as the best nunchuck competitor that my eyes have ever seen, right? And so that's a sucky loss for him. For fighting, Jack Felton's had a few of those.
Got a few, yeah.
He's had one against Raymond, a couple against Raymond Daniels. He's had the James Poor one, and the last Irish Open, last against Elijah Everill. That one.
So yeah, I mean, I see myself like I feel like Jack and I can relate in a lot of things like that, just on those losses. But we still have legendary and careers that people really look at and aspire to. So I think that's a good thing too, is to don't just always look at what they did win or didn't win or that they lost, but also how they lost and how they continued on in their sport and the impact they've made on the sport too within that, because I think Jack is one of the greatest competitors ever and also one of the greatest sportsmen ever,
ever.
So yeah,
ever. If you look at it,
Matt is the GOAT. But that night it was Kalman.
Yeah, all those things are true. Jack is really, when you look at it, when you say like, all right, Raymond Daniels might be one of the greatest sport karate competitors of all time. He is the greatest fighter. But if you can say like he might be one of the greatest all-around sport karate competitors, I think you can still say the same thing for Jack. I think, you talk about fighters, it's harder to do because there's only one thing to do. But like Jason Borelli, 100%, he's one of the greatest competitors in the history of this sport, regardless of division. You can say the same thing for Jack. Yeah,
John, you're right, man. Open weapons showdown at Diamonds last year. All three of those guys had a bad loss with those performances. But there was 4 of them up there. All of them killed it, and you're right. Like that's a bad loss, but like it's a tough one, but
someone's got to lose.
Yeah, someone's got to lose, and that's part of it, right? There was something else I was going to flip it on that, but then you switched it to something else, and I got off track. But it's okay. So I mean, I think that's a really cool way to reflect, and how that what that did for you, what that did for some of those competitors. I think there's several people, especially like in the Super Grands era, of people that got like 9 to 10 runner-ups until they finally, like broke through and won, and then got on a track. I mean, there's several of those people. Like Ramel Gargolas was one of those people that did that, right?
What a competitor!
And just kept going. There were several like that had those runner ups and finally broke through and won. So that's an interesting thing, to add to, and to think about in our sport. So, all right, who are some standout competitors that you want to give shout out to right now over the last couple of months?
Well,
let's go.
I have been thinking about. I didn't know he was at your tournament. I have been thinking about, like, man, I want to see this guy compete more. That was Justice Floyd. So to hear that he won, right? Yeah. I want to give some shout out to that, because when you look at the men's fighting divisions, number one, I don't know where he lands, right? Years ago he was light middleweight. I can't believe he's still light middleweight. There's no possible way, right?
Yeah,
but if you told me he's a middleweight, I'd believe it. If you told me he's a light heavyweight, I'd believe it. If you told me he's a heavyweight, I'd believe it. All right, just because of how big the guy is. All right, so he's really kind of an enigma, and I think his style of fighting is one that is refreshing. I think it's good to see a little bit more of. I think the only person that really kicks as much as him now is like 7 inches shorter than him. Right, Enrique, right?
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say it. The person that kicks as much as him who's wildly successful. I should say that, right?
Yeah.
There's lots of people who kick that much, but who are ones that we would know and ones that we would talk about because they win. We would say Enrique. So I'm really interested to see how well he does maybe come Battle of Atlanta,
Right.
Because
he's kind of taking a little break from doing a lot of the national stuff or the world tour stuff. So I'd like to see him doing more of that. And I think, he's a well-rounded competitor as well. I love seeing him at the regional tournaments. I was hoping he would compete in forms in my tournament, but he did not. But he did the week before and won 2 different forms divisions. You know what I mean? So he's always, and then I think the month before he won both grand championships, or he won the musical forms grand championship or something like that. So, I mean, he wins Korean a lot down in the South as well. So pretty awesome to see. Guys, Mitchell Street has been on fire. That is definitely one that I would think of, just some of the things that he is doing. I'm going to say someone that I think it's a weird thing to say she gets overlooked because she's always been so successful, but Avery Presley, winning 3 overalls this year in her first year, having some good, just being consistent and continually going out there and pushing herself, getting through those first few ups and downs and struggles and going through with that. And I think all those, all 3 of those ladies that we had on our show last year have had some really cool moments and pushed themselves. So I'm excited for that with Pia and Alice and Avery. And I mean, I think Cody is someone that I really enjoy watching and seeing her just explode on her last year as a junior. And really just getting to stand out this year, and I think last year, some of her forms were in the past few years, some of her forms were at that level to win.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think she's one of those people that could go back and say, I had a lot of tough losses, but I learned from them and kept pushing, And so I'm excited to see how she, this really important part of the year that we're getting to, this May is a lot of the training and focus to get ready for the battle in the US Open. So pretty excited. All right. You got someone else?
Well, we were talking about Cody. I'd love to see. I remember when Cody and Michael were on the show, man, they were a lot of fun. And listen, I'd love to have them back. Michael was kind of giving Cody a little bit of a rough time, which I thought that was funny. I thought
Yeah,
that was hilarious. Right?
it is funny. Those two are hilarious together, and they have a really cool, brother sister bond. So pretty awesome. Um, all right. Uh, Man, I hate to get into negatives because we've had a lot of good talk right now. But
Bring
I
it
tell you
on.
what,
We
there's
got
only
it.
one thing that could have gotten me distracted from my tournament last week. And again, it's always funny because I always say, you know what, they don't matter, and just ignore them because they don't really make sense. And we've talked a lot about how they don't make sense, and we don't know who is creating them, who is doing them. But like the ISK rankings, like I'm still like, there's nothing that can just distract me more than that. And so the SK Sport Karate Zone puts those out, and you know what, like it's kind of funny. Thanks, Mark. You did an amazing job. Thank you for all the help and support. And
What John is saying. You're right, John. I am looking at the score.
so some people have posted after that, of like, why isn't there a senior, like an executive? How, why not show some respect to, like, let's think, right, all last year and even right now, Andrew Cabalon, if we're having a senior top 5, he should still be in it. He's winning all the 50 plus grands. Put this guy in there. Show some respect to that. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. He'll be in there one time, then he won't be. It's very confusing, right? Same thing for me. Like, I go from what, I'm usually 2 or 3 in there most of the time. I have been. And then we get to AKA, I win the Korean challenge, and then I'm gone. It's like, but I did everything I always do, and I was in the runoffs, and I'm in the grands, and then same thing. I go and I win it again at beating people that are already in the rankings at Ocean State, and I'm gone. I didn't get put back in, so it's very interesting, right? On
So
that,
who's making these rankings?
well, that's the question, and I go and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe the challenge, they're trying to say the challenges don't matter. Well, the traditional challenge matter because the person that was 4th place in traditional challenge got in the top 5. So why does the person winning the Korean challenge don't, or even the people in the top 2, like, so it's very interesting on that, where that's coming from. Especially now the Korean challenge is a NASCA division, rated division. It's in the runoffs. So it makes me, hey, okay, well, I will definitely just go back and do 18 plus Korean as well as the challenge, just so that way, you can at least put some respect on my name a little bit, before I finish
This is
that.
what doesn't make sense, though. That's why, like, the main rankings, you can at least look at that and go, hey, I know who's making these rankings.
Right.
You
exactly.
know who, right?
Right.
That ain't me, right?
Well, no, but it's set up as an algorithm and points, and like it makes sense because it's based off of results.
Well,
Not
that's
just,
also true.
yeah, not opinion. So
But
that's why.
so Travis makes the rankings, but
Well, no,
Travis posts the rankings.
No, he created a
An
ranking
algorithm.
system that goes off of what you win, how many events you're doing, who you're going against, who you beat, all those different things, right? Now,
Right. But he
some of that-
explains, like,
yeah,
here, this is the process
yeah,
as to why the rankings are what they are.
right.
So you go, oh, pretty simple, self-explanatory. So we're
Right.
like, what the heck? How come I'm not on there? This is why.
Right.
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 And
it's not
there is
just,
no answer for the
hey, this one tournament that none of those people are at, this guy won, and now he jumps everyone else that he's never beaten before, because that has happened on these rankings before. So that part is very confusing, right?
yeah.
And again, I just think we all need to know a little bit more. I mean, I had a parent call me today, one of my private lesson students, and it's like, what are these rankings? Because I've seen my son's name on it sometimes not. I don't know what it's for. What is it, because let's be honest. We work our butt off all year long. We know if we're winning consistently, or if you're winning grands, or you're in runoffs, you're in that group to hopefully be on stage at US Open. but you don't know. You really don't know. And really the biggest thing is just you got to have a really good US Open. Like
Yes.
if you go in and you just whoop everyone and then you're probably going to be on stage. So
Yeah.
the biggest thing is just go out there and try to win and keep doing that. And I guess my thing is that I haven't been losing. So that's why it's interesting of how, like, did something change from August of, like, that was my last loss was August 1st last year in my division was my, you know what I'm saying? So that's where it gets me kind of confused on that. It's like, it's like, but I haven't lost. And I'm doing, in a lot of ways, the hardest division, 3 rounds, and no longer we're in the finals where I get a break. We can do 1, 2, 3 right there. So, and again, I know it always sounds like I'm just complaining myself, but that's just an example because it just stands out a lot. And there's
you
other
can't speak on someone else's personal experience.
Right. That's true. Exactly. So, so that's just interesting. So I know if I'm dealing with something like that, there's others as well that are too, right? So yeah, so that's just something that I just think needs attention, and looking at, and I don't know how to change that, but I guess the only way for us is to talk about it. And I don't want to be always like a complaint or we're not saying, oh, we're boycotting this or that. No, we're just bringing it to attention because I think talking about it is how we have to, to work it. Have I messaged whoever I thought was in charge and asked? I have before. So just again,
Well, that's the other thing is whether it is ProMac, ISKA, NASCA, whatever it is, everyone has a ranking system.
Yeah.
And if you want your ranking system to matter, it has to mean something, right?
Yes, it has to have clear, define results and reasons and a pathway, right? A clear pathway.
Right. So you could take the stance of, well, I don't really care, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and if you get to the point where you're like, I really don't care about this, then your thing doesn't matter.
Right.
Now your thing doesn't matter. And then now your ranking of this and of that, nobody really cares. Nobody cares if their name is on it. Nobody cares if their name is off of it. So if it doesn't mean anything, if there's no purpose, right? What does it do? It doesn't do anything. It's just someone saying you're number 2, you're number 3. And then what was the point? So they got to figure it out. Otherwise, it's not boycott. It won't be a boycott. It'll be worse than a boycott. A boycott means we wanted to go here, but you made us angry, so now we're not going to go.
Right.
This is apathy. It would just be like, you still here? You still exist?
Right.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about you.
Yeah.
That's worse.
That's true. That's true.
Spot on. How many people ever say I'm spot on? Oh, thank you, Brett. Thank you. Yes, no one ever says I'm spot on. I think I am, but no one ever says it.
All right, a little shout out to guys that are putting on a workshop at the end of the month. Champions SMA workshop.
Ooh,
we got
cool.
Rudy Rainin, Steve Tirada, Mackenzie Emery, Shaheen Jahanbakhsh, and Jack Felton all putting on another great workshop at Champions Martial Arts in California, May 31st. So again, shout out to those guys. And it's pretty cool, just to see them giving back and being involved on coaching. So love seeing that.
Is this like an in-person thing?
Yeah. It's in-person things.
See, like, and that is a thing to where we're just so used to, if we're gonna go get on a plane and go somewhere, it's gonna be for a competition.
Right.
I mean, think about what you get to experience at a workshop like this, right? People go their entire martial arts career, maybe never really getting like actual one-on-one coaching with somebody of that level. And then now you can be around all of them. List off those names one more time.
Yeah, Jack Felton, Rudy Rainin, Steve Tirada, Shaheen Jahanbakhsh, Mackenzie Emery.
That's as heavy hitters as you can get.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So pretty cool. So, yeah, Drew, I don't know if it has any bearing. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. But, and we've talked about this so many years of like, wait, how did this person end up on stage? How did this person
Yeah.
not? I mean, and also like I remember being a spoiler before, of like,
Yeah.
hey, our plan was to have these two people on stage. Well, you and then someone else beat those people, so now we're gonna put y'all two versus this other person. Like it just you just never know. So
And
it's
I get when the US Open started going on ESPN. I do get where they're like, listen, we need to put our most aesthetically pleasing performances
correct.
out there because the average viewer is not going to understand Super Emperor, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They're not going to get it, right?
Even you don't even know how to say it, so that's what's funny.
Did I say it wrong?
You said impre or something like that. That was really
Something
funny.
like, whatever. You get it's the one that does this thing, right? Don't get me in trouble with the rest of the Japanese form or kata community. Don't get me in trouble with them. I'm not hating on it, but I get it to where they're like, listen, we need John Valera, we need David Douglas, we need Anthony DeMarco, we need Kim Do, we need them, right? Yes, that makes total sense. All right.
Yep.
But I do think, like, you said this spoiler. I remember a world where, gosh, this is bringing a throwback name. It was like the adult weapons, Lee Pei Yun won the grand championship.
Yeah.
And then, but it was Joey Greenhaw who won for like the ISKA ESPN finals thing.
Yeah.
It was him who won that. And yeah, he didn't get 2 nickels for winning that,
Right.
But he was like, and at the time he's like, man, how come I didn't get no money? And I'm like, dude, you kind of won the thing that everybody wanted to win. You beat all the hand-picked guys on TV. That's pretty freaking cool thing.
Yeah. It's a cool win, but yeah, I get it. It's like, hey, I'm still broke.
Yeah.
So
yo, DDB, I don't hate on Japanese katas. I do not. I just don't think they're more challenging than Korean forms. I don't.
Listen, here's the thing. And I think people think like I think exactly how you do because I am the Korean guy. No, I do not. Like I appreciate all the forms. And what's funny is that again, like this weekend, this was my first master belt in actual Taekwondo. Okay.
That's
so
cool.
So I have a Shotokan 7th degree. I have American Karate Taekwondo, American, you know what I mean, 5th degree. I have a Taekwondo 5th degree. I have a WT Kukiwan 1st degree. All those different things, right? So it's very it's just funny when people think I'm only one style or whatnot, and I don't like the Japanese form. No, if I'm judging, looking at all of it overall, and what I'm also very picky on technique. I'm also very picky on things like stances and stuff. It has nothing to do with style. It's just about correct technique, right?
Yeah,
So,
and also I don't love the sine wave in
right.
I do not like that at all in Korean. I'd actually rather watch Japanese kata than see sine wave Korean form. That bothers the heck out of me. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Don't get me started because all my videos of me competing, I get the hey, so I have a question. There's karate. Why don't you just do karate instead of a bastardized version of Taekwondo? That's what people tell me, and I'm just like, the way I'm doing it is actually the traditional way. It was the way that was done before they added the sine wave. So yeah, whatever. But at the same time, I've learned from those guys too. I don't trash what they do in ITF because I learn it and understand the usage of it and why it's applicable But I also the same way with, same thing with the Kukkiwon forms. They were not done like they are now. Okay. That was a new thing. So like you can't say this or that, or you guys are ruining this. No, like, so that's another thing we'll go back into the Adidas stuff that's coming up. I'm excited about that because that is really one of the best ways to show the traditional part of what it was before it got to being, this is exactly how you have to do it. And we have this and this, and, like explaining some of this to all you guys may be very hard because and it may take too long. So I'm not even going to do that this week about how Sport Pumse and ITF tournaments are. But, I'm excited to be a part of the Adidas league and coaching and helping pick a team, but also, there will be some spots for the ISK championship stage spots for that. Right. So I'm excited for that. The Cookie Monster form, asking for a friend. Cookie one. That's funny. Actually, the higher level of difficulty are technically harder, but it's just not just technical.
EDB,
You're right. I'd also think that sometimes there's a different way of having power, right? And I think that's the hardest thing right now with me competing against, again, I mean, of course, also you add in the age, right? But me or someone else in Taekwondo competing against people from a Japanese Okinawan style is the way that power is created is different. So you also are talking about uniforms being different too. So let's not even get into that because that's a whole nother thing.
Well, let's lean into that though, Jeff. I mean, when we look at Japanese Okinawan competitors, I think as far as power, like,
yeah.
Well, who am I thinking? Oh my
What,
gosh,
Mason Stowell?
Mason Stowell, one of the most powerful I've ever seen. I mean, I think. See, I can't vouch for everything.
One more, hold on, time out. Shout out to Mason for getting a bronze medal over. I think he was in Spain. Congrats, man! And
congrats.
He probably should have even was that close to doing even better than that. So
wow,
awesome.
Yeah, and Ariel Torres, like, that is he's probably the most powerful that I've seen. But I can't say that like, oh, I didn't watch Sonny Ono competed. I heard a lot about him, right? But I don't know, right? So, but let's talk about that though, Jeff. Powerful Korean forms. Not really settled out. Who's got the most power in their Korean forms right now? Or maybe who's the most powerful that you've seen ever? I'm trying to think of this, man, I don't know.
I guess it depends on what we're looking at. It's a different type of power, right?
It is.
So again, I feel like that's what always has separated me from everyone was that, of course, the technical ability that I have and the clean technique, but I think I have powerful kicks, not place kicks. So I feel like that's what's helped me. As far as some other people, Mitchell has a lot of power, so I think that's what's helped him win Korean as well as the Japanese divisions. From in the past, I mean, you got to look at Marcel. Definitely,
that's what that's right where my head went. I'm thinking of you, and I'm like, is there anybody more powerful than you that I can think of? And I kept like, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think
Marcel, but Marcel's got a different kind of power.
Oh yeah, it is. Because Marcel beefier than me.
Well, Marcel is those long stances that will not move, right. And he'll generate power just without moving anything else. Will generate a ton of power, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think so.
George Chung was a different type
for
of
me.
form.
I actually think so. Another powerful one is Edgar Cordova. Was really powerful. Okay. And a lot of people, yes. And this is another one. Ron Kane. Thank you. Ron Kane might be the only ITF former sergeant that I was like, wow, that's different. And he's super powerful. Right.
It's a weird question, right? Most powerful Korean form.
Yeah. Dan Marshall is another one that had a lot of great power. And And, then the other guys that I think of that had a lot of power were also Japanese competitors. Like, I mean, Keith Weston is one of the most powerful people ever. So imagine him doing, Gay Beck. And he did, and he won, several times,
You know who probably would have been like one of the most powerful Korean forms, but I know that he can do them. I know that he does. I've just never seen him do it. That's Chris Walker.
Yeah, yeah.
I bet you he'd have some amazing Korean forms.
Probably so.
Did you know who really did have some good ones though? It was pretty powerful because you got to think about they were probably really young, right?
Yeah.
Steve Torres.
Yes, that's a great one. Sorry, Steve Torres. That would be definitely one that I would, man. Yeah, he definitely brought it. He was a fun one to watch.
Oh gosh!
And another one for me was Jesse Jones. Jesse Jones was someone who was one of the best Korean forms I've seen.
Was there a Michael Belcher?
Yeah, but he didn't do Korean.
I thought he did Korean. No, he did. He did Japanese. He's had a really, really good sidekick. That's what it was.
He did have a really good
That's
sidekick.
why I thought it was Korean.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. From AKA, from Sharkies. So
yes.
There we go. That's the one. All right. Female side. Yeah. Melissa Payon, definitely. And also Mika Rosecrans. She had some amazing Tang Soo Do forms as well. She's from California. And yeah, Melissa Payon was big in the late 90s as well with her Tang Soo Do. The Falangas, Joe, his mom, they had some amazing power with what they did in their Tang Soo Do. So yeah, I mean, very interesting, right? On just talking about that. And I'm sure we're still missing some people, but
I've never even thought of this question before.
Yeah. But here's the thing that I think so many people don't do, and I think more need to, is you can say, I don't like watching this, or I don't like, but just study the ITF circuit, study the Sport Poomsae circuit. So, I tell you,
or a light dig,
or a light dig. Yeah. Just put on like the last World Championships, and from, ITF, and then also from, WT, World Taekwondo, and just see the difference. See, wow. Because I'll tell you what, those uniforms they have aren't that heavy, but you can hear them snap every time, and it's a different type of breathing that WT has. It's all nose breathing, so it's all pop here. ITF breathes very similar to the way I do of the breathing, like there's no yells, there's no kias, right? Yes, Chad Mason. I've only heard stories and I've seen pictures of how intense he was. I never really got to see his Korean form in person, just his musical form. So, thank you, Lindsay, for all your help. Excited to see everything. And thanks for all the support. And I'm glad you're able to make it as well.
Dude, can you hear my house like shaking right now? Dude, it's crazy. Like
your kids are going crazy right now?
Bananas, right? Like it sounds like there's like a bulldozer in my living room upstairs, right? Why are they still awake? Because they're watching the T-Wolves game. Man, look at it, 1-point game. Let them go, fellas.
That's funny, Brett. Yeah, I don't really think I always wanted to see his Korean form, but I never got to. So that was interesting. But he's still someone I looked up to because I got to talk to him and talk to him about Korean so many times growing up. And so I learned a bunch from just some of the advice he gave me and also when he judged me. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, man, Minnie took the lead. Uh-oh.
Dude, so I'm trying to just observe and not watch. Trying hard.
Oh man. All right. So this weekend, I'm gonna be in Wisconsin. You're not, right?
I won't be there this week. I want to. It would be that's a fun tournament.
Yeah, so I'm trying to say I know that they told me they want me to I'll be judging some Friday. I may try to pop into a division because I've never competed there. And I don't know, maybe I'll take your position of being the commentator, right?
I hope you do. I hope this is what I hope.
so-
This is what I hope. Okay. I hope you do that. You do all the judging Friday, you do everything. You coordinate, you judge on Saturday, but you're like, oh, isn't that the 18 plus Korean? You just pop right over there. And then it's you and Ben Jones in the final, and you beat Ben. Love you, Ben Jones. All right. But how cool would that be? Right?
yeah,
But you got to be commentating and then go, hold on, be right back.
that would be fun. And I've done that. I feel like I've done that before, but yeah.
And I bet you Joe Boone will be there. So it'll be like being right alongside me anyway. I just have more hair.
There we go. There we go.
Well, I have more up here. He's got more down here.
Yeah, I know, man. He's growing that beard out, man. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
All right. Any other special shout outs that, I know Joe has a fight coming up soon. Or he already did, right?
He already did. He already
Okay.
won. Yeah.
Awesome.
It was a great one. And that was about a month ago. And man, I wanted to get there and go see it because he told me, he goes straight up, he goes, I think this is my last fight ever. I mean, think about it, man.
Yeah.
How old are we? And you go out there doing full contact MMA,
Right.
just
Exactly.
for the heck of it, right? Like, fighting 22-year-old kids, like,
Right.
dude, they're trying to end you.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
he's out there. He's out there doing 360 round kicks in MMA fights. Think I'm kidding.
I love it. I love it. Let's see what else. Oh, a shout out again to Amanda Duarte. Another episode came out of her TV show that she is featured on. So congrats to her and the whole crew of those guys that are putting on that show. And let's see. Again, we talked about Mason. A lot of our competitors from NASCA and from Sport Martial Arts that are out there killing it on different circuits. I mean, there's a lot of great things. There were some other events over the weekend as well. So shout out to those guys. And man, I don't know, dude. I'm just enjoying it, and we're in that time right now where everyone is training for the battle. I know we have in a couple of weeks Miami. We got some big regional tournaments. I'm excited to go and be at the Music City SmackDown for the first time at the end of the month in Tennessee. So we got lots. WKC Nationals is coming up. There's so many different things happening in our sport.
That's June.
It's usually
6th.
like June 5th or 6th, something like that.
I think it's the 6th. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
usually
it's probably a 2-day. So it is probably 5th and 6th.
yeah. So going to be great. And thanks, Joey. I appreciate it. But yeah, man. All right. Anything you got else?
Wait a minute. Goat of Korean. You got it. I mean, at least Mount Rushmore. If you think Mount Rushmore. Ooh.
Oh,
we have like 2-3 extra minutes to do that.
All right. Are we saying male Korean? We're saying
Let's do male. Let's do male.
Okay.
Just
and
because we talked about you, we might as well.
We're talking about in sport
Yes.
martial, like the open circuit, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So
John Chung.
yeah. See, for me, I put a lot of the NBL guys because they were actually doing
Say it. Yeah.
actual Korean forms. So, I mean, I put Edgar Cordova on there.
Okay.
As well. So he
only do 4.
I know.
You got John,
So
Edgar. What
okay.
else do you?
And I'm not putting myself on there, right?
Why would you not? Let's just go. I think you absolutely have to be.
Okay. Man, this is hard. I mean, I think a lot of people would put Marcel.
I was just gonna say it,
but it's hard for me not to put Bear Lobie in there.
All right. What's the argument for Bear over Marcel? Just curious.
Is how long he won, and then
I guess that would factor.
The limits, like the rules at the time. You know what I mean? Like only 5 Kias.
Because Bear did it in NBL, which actually had more handcuffs than NASCA. NASCA was you didn't even have to do a Korean form.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Some of that. I mean, John Valera did the Korean division, and we know that there was no ITF, no WT, no PUM. No, he just did his forms. Right. So that's a little different.
Another one who had the wins just as much as not as much as I did. Like I beat his NBL record eventually was Jericho Couture, so he could be on there as well. But I think actually there's one more that. All right, Ramir Mosquito. I don't know why I didn't put. So Ramir is one of the best that I ever saw, and he influenced a lot of people. So I'm gonna go. Man, all right, yeah, that was more than 4.
John Politi brought up Charlie Lee, which I got to ask the question too. What about Charlie Lee?
So, but I never saw him do a Korean form. I never saw him do a Korean form.
Yeah, now that I said it out loud, I'm like, wait a minute. Definitely a great Korean black belt, but I don't think you did Korean forms.
Right. And even the same thing with. There's always my argument with John Chung. He always did musical form in Grand, so he won all of his titles with musical forms. So
all right, yes.
Yeah.
However.
I would put Michael Dietrich in a lot of ways up there before because Michael won with a Korean form a lot of times.
Listen, so you're right. Yeah. But yes, Joey, Charlie did do creative or open. That's basically what Charlie did.
Forms of all time.
The reason why, I mean, I would consider John Chung, like the grandfather of Korean competition.
Because most people learn Gay Beck off of the Panther products or whatever it was, Productions video.
Yes, that's not how I learned Gay Beck, but that is how I learned a bunch of other ones, right?
Yeah.
I learned Kwang Gay from that. I learned Pu-Un from that. That's how I learned. I learned from watching John Chung.
Right.
So we all associate the highest level Korean forms from watching this guy. How could he not be in the Mount Rushmore? He has to be.
I agree. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just telling this.
No. I know. You're making the argument. I get it.
No.
All right, so what do we talk about? John, you, Edgar. Who's your final spot?
I'll go Ramir because, again, I think Mount Rushmore is different than the top, the best. If I said the best, it may be different. My top 5 is different than my Mount Rushmore because John Chung has influenced a bunch. I feel like I've influenced a bunch, especially this era. Who's the Ramir is the one that influenced so many people on how they took Gay Beck and choreo and made it competitive in those times. And then I think Edgar's longevity as well, he did that as well. So
yeah,
I would say those guys for me. Yours is probably different, but because here's what I think yours would be. Can I say it?
Tell me.
John Chung, me, Marcel Jones, Anthony Murata.
Yes, that is exactly what it is. I was open. I was listening to the Edgar part.
Yeah.
And I was almost convinced. But Anthony.
Can I tell you something though? Why Edgar? You know how many times Edgar and I have tied for first place world championships at NBL Super Grands? 3 times. You know how many times Bear and I have done that? 3 times. It's crazy. And then Dan Marshall and I once. So I had to really go through some killers to do that, and so did they. People just didn't understand. I hate saying this. I'm not trying to bash NASCA, but when I would go to NASCA those years, 13, 14, 15, it was a refresher. It was, you know what I mean? Compared to some of that, right? Now they got better with some of these guys and they kept getting better. But it became more about trying to beat Japanese, competitors more than winning my division. There it was man, you win this division, that's sick,
Yeah.
And I knew I was getting a fair shot in the final too, in the Grands. So So all right. And another one that was so good, people forget, Joshua Pittman, dude. This guy was he was an amazing fighter back then. But this dude had some amazing. Dude, Chris, thank you. That is you're so true. Stanley Pham was awesome, man. People don't even know about Jimmy Pham's brother, dude. He won the Korean Forms division. I forgot what year. He won the Korean Forms title in NBL.
Hold on. I did not know this Stanley exists.
Yes, he was his older brother.
Wow. All right. Thanks for the plug, Chris. That's cool.
Yeah. All right.
What
You
a
ready,
show.
Alex?
Grand Slam is back. You know, I think all we're missing is the New England Open. Let's get the New England Open back.
There we go. There we go. Hey, in a couple weeks, Bill Viola is having pretty much the Kumite Classic back. It's called Pittsburgh Power, but it's back in the same area, bringing a big festival again like he had before. So
then why not call it Kumite Classic?
I don't know. I think that, but yeah.
Rebrand.
So
rebrand. No problems.
Yeah,
Just
rebrand.
right
So, yeah. Tide of the half. All right, there you go.
Oh man, am I stoked? Go Wolves! This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys.